This episode brought to you by Dan's Moving. We have to say it, or Colonel Ping won't win bingo.
This is Hot Drop, where we bring you premier PUBG analysis and blazing July heat frying egg on 'em drops. I'm Dano.
Cody.
Hey, let's get into it.
All right. What the fuck?
Just go with it.
I'm rolling with it. All right, so we got an episode, and what number is it? Like 47, 48?
47.
We're in the 40s for sure. There's a lot of shit to go over for not feeling like a whole lot has happened.
Yeah. It's been a week and a half since our last episode. It was last Wednesday, so we put it out on the 20th. It's now the 29th. I feel just behind on stuff. I feel behind
also. I mean, Work is busy. It's hot.
You might have heard I'm moving.
Dan is moving. That's 3.
Discord.
But we're here.
Gotta hit all the keywords.
So tune in, I guess. Join our Discord. It's fun. We do stuff. We yell at our listeners for no reason. I've quelled the banning a little bit recently.
That's good.
You're
good on
welcome.
You. Yeah.
You are welcome.
It's a big step in your recovery.
My therapist tells me that I should repress my anger and not ban as many people from my kingdom. Whatever. So, yeah. I have a Patreon. We have a Patreon. So I can buy an Xbox. We have a couple of donators. We're pretty close-ish. About a third of the way there-ish. Come on.
Almost.
Get up off of that Patreon.
We want to have... we don't, actually. The people want it. The people want the Lord Beardface on the Xbox.
They need it.
Just desperately needed. So, patreon.com/hotdrop. If you're interested in that kind of thing, we do appreciate any kind of financial assistance you could give us. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, we also have a hotline that you people just don't want to call half the time.
No one wants to call it.
They text us constantly, but they're too afraid to let us hear their voices.
Yep.
Cowards. You're all cowards.
508-216-0006. Write it down. Put it in your phone. Add it as a contact. Text that around to your friends. Just like freaking call it, man. Just call it.
Don't text it. We don't want your text messages.
All right. Call it.
Call it.
We're here. Operators are standing by 24/7.
Automated operators.
Yep. They're here.
Cool. Top 10 contest, Dano.
All right. We feel bad. We made you do a survey. You filled it out. And we did no community nights yet. It's because we're busy, and you might have heard I'm moving. And then next week is July 4th and all this stuff.
Whoa.
All right. What's up?
You're moving?
Yeah? Have you heard?
That the part is a word.
I'm moving, so I'm busy. There's not a lot of time for me to do things, but we're here. I'm surrounded in a sea of boxes. Like, what's his name? What's his face? Who's his face?
Tom Hanks?
John Mayer. No, John Mayer. Tom Hanks. John Mayer says, "Swim in a deep sea of boxes." That's me. It's bound to be a while.
I think he said blankets.
No, boxes.
Swim in a deep sea of blankets.
My new apartment will be a wonderland. I'm very much looking forward to that. But in the meantime, until we can do a community night, we have to appease you guys because there was a bit of a riot in the Discord. Did you catch that? You remember that this week?
There was some uprising.
Yeah. People are upset that we don't have a community night. But people took it into their own hands, and apparently Fridays is going to be the Xbox community night, so hop in on that. It's not an official Hot Drop night. I just want to say that. Not sanctioned by Hot Drop. But
so any tomfoolery that goes on there, we are not responsible for.
In any way. So what we're doing instead is doing a top 10 contest, a weekly top 10 contest. And what this means is you will send us your clips, preferably 20 seconds or less, from Xbox, mobile. If somehow you can get a mobile clip, that'd be cool. PC. And each week will be a theme. So the first week's theme was just top 10 plays. Next week will be, and currently this week actually, will be not top 10. So all of your follies, your team kills, your accidental car blowings up, all of those things, send us those. We're going to rank them. And the winner of this top 10 contest gets a custom Discord emote of their choice. So submissions are open from Wednesday to Wednesday, every Wednesday. And you can please only submit 3 clips or less because there's a lot of stuff for us to dig through. And if you submit more, it just takes us longer to dig through them all. So I'll do the drum roll. Cody, do you want to announce the winner here?
I don't know who the winners are. I don't remember who the winners are.
Cody doesn't know the winner. Mr. Suds is the winner of this week's inaugural top 10 contest with the beautiful clip of teamwork in action. Just a hot drop beatdown. Did you see that?
Nailed it.
Did you see it? It was beautiful.
Was beautiful.
A whole squad of hot droppers just beating down someone with fists with shirts off. It was amazing.
We had some pretty awesome submissions for this, so it was a really cool idea to get this going.
So this week is done and in the books. Mr. Suds, come claim your prize. And again, if you guys want to participate and you want to submit your clips, you'll have to do so through the Discord. There is a top 10 channel for you to submit your clips. And remember, maximum of 3 per week. This week's top 10 video will be up tonight on our YouTube, so come check it out. So, what's next? Want to dive right in?
I do want to dive right in, Dan.
Let's dive. Corrections. So we have some corrections. For some reason last week I thought RGBA was our red, green, blue, Auburn. It actually stands for red, green, blue, alpha. Alpha referring to opacity, not amber. Not Auburn. Alpha. It's a developer thing. Lemon John cued us in on that. And also, Silatum says Steam takes 30% of sale price as commission. So all this talk of us saying like, oh, $30 times whatever million copies sold, like that's just for dramatic effect. Like we know that. We're just being idiots. They don't actually have as much money as we said. They haven't made 1.5 billion in sales, but they've made a lot. And that's just really the point that we're trying to stress. But thank you, Silatum, for letting us know. I didn't know that they took 30% of sales.
That's a lot. Yeah,
it's like $10 off of every copy. So, and this is why Steam, the makers of Steam, Valve, do not make video games anymore because they print money with their service.
And so here's the thing. I mean, video games in general are software, so like you're essentially putting man hours in to develop this software in these games, which is a lot of work. But when you sell them for $60 a pop, and these days they're not even finished when they sell them for $60 a pop, and some people are paying $100 for the special editions, like good on you, Valve.
Yeah.
Good on you.
They figured us out. You can't hate them for it. You really can't. Yeah. So moving into the Xbox box.
The Xbox box!
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
We all know what you guys want to hear. Like, what's the number one thing that Xboxers want to hear, or what they're anxious for? What would you say?
I mean, did they get the prize?
Oh, I thought you were going to say they just want a working game, and then I was going to say, no, you want to know about Headhunter, if it was a success or not.
I mean, I feel like that was a bad question. Why would I tell you they wanted a working game?
I was trying to set you up, right?
Yeah, but I mean, like, you should have given me a heads up. This is a podcast. We got to work this out.
Headhunter was a success.
Now the egg is on your face, sir.
Damn it all. The July fried egg on it drop just landed on my face. All right, rewind. Cody,
go.
As an Xboxer to be, what would you say would be the number one thing that you are hoping for and anticipating in the coming weeks? What is the one piece of news that you just are dying to hear?
That the game is working perfectly, Dan.
No. You want to know
You
if Headhunter
tricked
was
me!
successful.
You tricked me. You tricked me.
Got him. Has the community, sometimes I just start the sentence with the wrong word. Has the community achieved a total of 4 million headshots in the last week?
More.
4,435,777 headshots, half of which likely by cheaters. All of them. You get your rewards. All y'alls. You get those gloves and that bloody shirt. Enjoy. You did it. Congrats.
Y'all done it. But
More
here's some
importantly-
real news.
Yeah.
You got a
real news.
patch. You got a patch. June 26th, update patch notes. You got it. There's stuff.
There's a lot of stuff.
Went live.
They teased this one for a while.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I thought it would be bigger.
Yeah, me too.
But there's some stuff in here.
Yeah. So they say recently we released 2 hotfixes with improvements originally planned to be included in this patch. As they were ready earlier than expected, we wanted to get them to you as soon as possible. So that's already out. The hotfix was about the memory leak issue and matchmaking logic to reduce instances of players being stuck in queues for a very long time. So the improvements in this patch are stability, optimization, and bug fixes.
Yeah. So instability. There have only been 2 changes that were made. They optimized the total memory required for both maps with a significant reduction in total memory required for Miramar, which, as we know, is a giant suck of one gameplay and memory. So figuratively and metaphorically in terms of your experience playing and the memory at which it sucks out of your system.
There's literal sucking.
Yeah. Well, of data.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And the UI has been optimized to use less resource, guys, because that just happens to be in everything. They could literally change one thing, and they're going to add that in there to make it seem as though it is working better.
It's true.
It's not.
Their goal is to prevent crashes entirely for all players. There are still crashes to fix, they say, and they will continue to work as hard as they can to improve stability.
Remember that time where they charged everybody $30 for this game, and then we've been playing for a really long time, and then they released it a little too early on a system that couldn't handle the thing that other more powerful systems couldn't handle very well?
And remember how they plastered all of their advertising with Battlegrounds and sold Xbox consoles with the promise of having a working PUBG game?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that happened.
Just wanted that to be of note. Moving on,
still happening,
optimization,
actually.
man.
As we've mentioned in previous dev letters, our team is prioritizing making improvements which will increase performance at the start of the game when landing, as well as when driving vehicles, as these are the most common areas of performance-related complaints. So there's some technical information here, which is cool. They've learned from people yelling at them that they want more information in the patch notes. So they say PUBG tries to load all resources within a 1 kilometer radius of your player to ensure you're seeing everything you need to see to properly enjoy the Battle Royale experience. Although loading all resources within that radius is negatively impacting performance, so they will continually make improvements to the way resources are handled to improve optimization. And this makes sense. Like, why am I loading stuff that's well over a kilometer away from me if I'm not seeing it, I'm not interacting with it, and it's just impacting the performance of my game? Makes sense.
Jace.
So
Jace.
this is their prediction level streaming. This and elastic control for characters. I don't know exactly what that means, but they try to explain it and say that they are 2 examples of systems which reduce the loading of unnecessary resources. So there are performance-related improvements in this patch, and those things include character movement has been optimized to reduce the use of resources and improve performance. Their goal is to reduce the resources required to render characters by 50%. This is still their goal, but it requires further testing to ensure stability, and they will keep us updated on progress. Vehicle location updates have been made more efficient for stationary vehicles to improve performance. They say that the position of every vehicle within 1 kilometer of your player is updated very frequently to ensure that vehicle movement is smooth, and then that previous to this patch, frequent vehicle location updates were also being requested for every stationary vehicle, which would negatively impact performance. So I kind of do like that we're hearing these kind of technical details. I would have never thought that that would be happening for the first, for one, and for two, that the fact that they're telling us that how badly this was coded and that they fixed it. Like, that's good, I guess, right?
It is good.
They've changed the way locations are updated for stationary vehicles, which will improve performance. Do you want to take this next one? Vehicle effects have been optimized?
Yeah, so they've been optimized to improve performance without affecting visual quality. So when vehicles were moving, many resources were being used to generate visual effects. We've optimized the effects without diminishing their visual quality to improve overall game performance. So essentially, it would seems like it would like lose quality the same way that when crazy stuff is happening on like bad internet connections, when there's a lot of stuff happening on the screen, all of a sudden like it still plays it all, but like it looks really blurry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing I think here, is that they've made it so that everything stays smooth when there's a lot happening, which is awesome.
Yeah. And the same kind of thing with bullet impact effects. They say that these bullet effects, if they're not seen by you, they will not render and therefore will not impact your performance. So this could help if you're in a very close range fight, I think.
Yeah.
Or if someone else is fighting close range to you and you see the sparks and the smoke and the bullet decals and all that stuff, you won't be as negatively impacted as you were before. So you want a smooth gameplay experience. Everyone wants it, and these are the little things they're doing to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Character shadow rendering. I feel like some of these things we've talked about already. Yep. I remember talking about shadows. And terrain and grass have also been optimized.
For all the grass that is on Miramar.
Correct.
They've made 2 additional changes to improve world loading times when landing. Parachutes have been optimized and now use less resources. The physics while free falling have also been optimized. The efficiency of the physics used while free falling upon exiting the plane have been improved. With this change, bullets will no longer be able to impact players in free fall. Players can still be shot while parachuting. This change only applies to free falling players prior to opening your parachute. So I've never seen anybody try and shoot somebody who is free falling ever,
or even be able to see them.
No, so cool, but I don't think that was really. I mean, maybe that was an issue on Xbox, but I can't imagine how.
Yeah,
but there were also bug fixes. Bug fix sometimes when footsteps weren't being heard after or during ADS, and they fixed the bug where the position of teammates sometimes wouldn't display correctly on the minimap. So they're going to keep pushing out updates and hotfixes as quickly as possible. Keep an eye out for other stuff. There's obviously some stuff that's going to help you guys in here. However, I did think this was going to be a bigger update.
Yeah, same. And speaking of hotfixes, there was a June 28th hotfix already they put out, which is cool. They said they would do it, and here they are already pushing hotfixes out. This fixed a bug that the match type was not being shown after creating your character. And this was somewhat relevant to the ready button bug, which they say has caused a lot of frustration for you guys. Often the ready button would disappear, especially after finishing a duo or squad. And this could potentially fix that bug. So they don't even know for sure if this is going to fix this, which is frustrating to me that they're pushing fixes where they don't know for sure if it's going to do anything. But that's honestly how software works. There's a lot of throw it at the wall and see if it sticks kind of stuff happening. And I'm glad that we at least got some kind of fix. Because if we were just waiting and waiting for the official fix to come, I'd rather them try to see if this works. You know, I'd rather see if we get something out of this instead of waiting for a long time to get the actual fix.
Yeah.
Even if it's just a placebo, you know.
Yeah.
Minor server fixes, minor lobby fixes as well in the hotfix. So those are your patch notes for the last few patches. There's some feedback in Discord, a couple things that we want to throw out for the Xbox players. This one comes at you from Charlie MCN, who says, if anyone on Xbox feels like they have trouble with the final circles or have moments where the hell did that come from kind of situations, he says he can recommend reviewing gameplay on PUBGdetective.com. So you can replay your games and you can see where teams play and how you got pinched, where the team went that should have killed you, etc. All those things. So you can see how the match played out in a visual way.
That's awesome.
Also, RP25516 said they used PUBGreplay.com to find out that the guys who took them out, there was a whole squad of hot droppers, Supachamp, Rai, and Resner, the Downward Spiral. All of those guys were playing together, and they reviewed this replay and saw that they were killed by people who were illegally teaming up with each other. That was 2 separate 3-man squads that teamed up, landed together, looted together, fought together, and traveled together to take all of their squad out. So that's not cool. Like, I'm very much against teaming. Yeah, that's stupid. Just don't do it. So RP even went so far as to report them, which is hell yeah, dude. Just report them. It's not cool. They're ruining the experience of everyone else. I'd say it's almost close to cheating if you're teaming up in a pack of 6.
It is cheating. It literally is cheating. It's not close to cheating.
Well, it's not cheating in the sense of like hacking the game code.
Right.
But yeah, it is cheating. It's not cool.
But we do have a really cool gameplay tip that Ducky came in clutch.
Yeah.
Your longer weapon, if you say you have an assault rifle or you have an SMG and a sniper, take your longer weapon and put it in slot 2. This is because in your character animation, your character pulls the weapon off their back over their head. If you're lying down, you have the long weapon you're switching to. It can give away your position because you, instead of pulling it from down, you pull it from behind your head every single time. And so if you have a smaller weapon to pull from over your head, you're not going to be noticed as much.
Exactly. Super cool. Yeah, the draw animation for the weapon slot 2 is under the arm. So like your barrel won't fly up and potentially give yourself away when you're switching out. Yeah. Really good.
By the way,
tip.
the HUD in your inventory is opposite of what you see on your screen.
Exactly.
And so the 1 and 2 are flip-flopped from when you tab in and when you tab out. So just keep in mind that's what it is, and just watch in the top left corner that it says 1 and 2 in your tab screen.
Right. And it's also the weapon that's on the right side of your backpack if you're playing in third person.
Yeah.
So you want to keep your sniper rifle out of that position. You want your sniper to be on the left side.
Jace.
So that was your Xbox box, and rolling on into...
You are now entering the personal computer place. Well, we have update 16, so that's a thing.
That's a thing. And
yeah,
sort of out of nowhere. Like, I really wasn't expecting this. I don't know why, but I kind of wasn't expecting it.
I think I wasn't expecting it until everybody said they hated the event pass. And then I was like, oh, yeah, they're going to change something.
Yeah.
This is too much anger to not address it in any way, shape, or form. And so they kind of wrote a letter, and then they added notes. So it says, hi, everyone. Before we get into the patch notes, we'd like to talk about Event Pass. Funky Chicken. As we said in the dev notes, the Event Pass was introduced to let players experience a different way to enjoy PUBG content. Your feedback regarding the Event Pass has been extremely valuable to us, and we're making some changes based on the feedback received. Translation, all right already. We know it's shitty. Here's some other stuff. And so they're going to keep figuring out where they messed up, and they're going to try and fix that. So why don't you get into the Event Pass notes, Dano?
Sure. So the Event Pass system's progression mechanisms have been adjusted. People were complaining that you had to play for a really, really long time to even achieve enough XP to make it feel like you're progressing in the patch.
Yeah, so part of this was that it was the Eurogamer, that article. I think said they figured it out. You had to play for like 8 or 9 hours to reach level 20 a day.
Per day. Yeah, before the end of the pass.
Can you imagine spending that much time playing this game while being a fully grown adult and having a job, a wife, kids?
It's impossible. It's impossible. And it's like misleading to say like, oh, because you can go all the way up to level 30. So it's like those things past level 20 are like basically not achievable. It's pretty much impossible to get there.
That's garbage trash.
So they must have seen that. Garbage trash. another bingo board. The daily XP limit has been increased from 80 to 120. And then the other part of this, which I didn't realize, is that you had to play a mission for a minimum playtime required to count towards mission progress was previously 5 minutes. So you had to play a game for 5 minutes before the mission progress was, recorded.
Yeah,
so
which is
they lowered
crazy
that to 2
because
minutes.
If you're playing hot and you're going aggressive, sometimes you're not going to get to 3 minutes. And so they've reduced it to 2, but 5?
Yeah. If you drop and you survive the first wave and then you make it out. You could make it out with like 5 or 6 kills at that point, and it's still less than 5 minutes. So you could die at like 4:30, and then you wouldn't have any of that progress counted towards the mission. That's just stupid. Like, why is there even intervals for that? Even a playtime requirement?
It's dumb as hell.
Dumb as hell. So along those lines, the minimum playtime required to acquire XP has been reduced from 5 minutes to 2.5 minutes.
Good. Cool.
And also, base playtime XP payment is now granted in 2.5-minute intervals instead of 5-minute intervals. Like, why can't we just do it live? Like, why do we have to have intervals for this? Previously, 2 XP was granted every 5 minutes. Now 1 is granted every 2.5 minutes. So I get that. I understand that. But, like, I don't... Why is it per minute? Just give it to us. Just count it up at the end. I don't know.
Just do some stuff.
Yeah. So for duo and squad games, mission progress is updated when your team wins the game or when your whole team is eliminated. If you reach top 3 without killing anyone in solos mission, requirements have been changed. The mission now requires reaching top 3 with 2 kills or less. Some missions that were really hard. And I'm okay with hard missions. Like, that's good, because not everything should be simple and just a grind. But some of these were ridiculous. And I want to pop over to a Reddit thread that someone posted. This post is from Core X on Reddit. Said, why is no one talking about this completely ridiculous mission? You have to play at least 3 games on Miramar where you meet all of these requirements. Okay, so this is a lot, so bear with me. 3 games on Miramar where you survive for at least 20 minutes, deal at least 200 damage to enemies, take no damage from the blue zone, loot at least 2 crates, revive at least 2 teammates, kill at least 3 players, reach top 10 while taking less than 100 damage and not using any first aid kits.
What?
Like, how do you even keep track of that? First off, it's just insane. It's insane. And you have to do that 3 times. So
That's dumb.
I don't even know what to say to that. Previously, I said in the last episode when we were talking about the event pass that I was all excited for it, and I probably would drop the $10 because I want to support them and also play some of these missions. But after seeing all of the ridiculousness, I'm taking back that comment.
I don't want any of it.
I don't want to deal with any of this.
I want to play the game. I don't care about any of this stuff. Even these skins, they time out. If I earn something or I want to play it, like, let me keep it.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care enough about temporary skins to do anything here.
And I think I also realized that I just don't care enough about skins in this game at all. Like, I don't really notice them as much as I did in Counter-Strike. They seem like sort of...
Would you say Counter-Strike is CSGO?
Global Offensive, yes.
Ah, I see.
Bingo board.
Interesting.
Bingo board. Yeah, I just... In that game, they're like, you can't leave first person. The weapon is right in front of your face, so you see it and you're always interacting with it. There's an inspect button in CSGO where it's like you hit F and it like sort of brings the weapon up to the screen and you can look at it, which is kind of cool. Like your character like turns it over in their hand. But like in this game, you sort of feel disconnected from that. And like, I don't know, it's not the same as Counter-Strike is. And I just don't really care about them as much. And they're really expensive for what they are. Like an orange M4 at one point was like $8. I don't know if it is anymore, but it was. Like, first off, I don't want an orange weapon, and second, I'm not going to spend $8 for that. So, I really take back a lot of stuff I said about this patch, about this pass. I'm kind of bummed out about it, to be honest with you.
Anyway, so crates, Aviator crate is now included in the random crates overall. They changed those ratios. It goes Aviator 20, Equinox 15, Triumph 10, Raider 15, Fever 2.5, Militia 15, Biker 10, Desperado 2.5, Survivor and Wanderer each 5%.
Yeah.
Cool. Get your crates. Sell them.
Sell them. Don't open them. Bingo board.
Go buy the skins you want. Bingo
Don't open
board.
the crates.
Someone's got a beat box by the end of this and say Fortnite's garbage.
Yep. Garbage trash. Sound. The volume of footsteps has been increased. I'm cool with that change. There's a lot of times when I can't hear footsteps when I
feel like
I
it used to be louder at the beginning of this game.
It did. It did.
It was real nerfed hard, so good.
Yeah. So the loudness of the footsteps and being able to pinpoint their location, because they just added that like different directional sound technology. That's going to make a good change.
They also adjusted the memory encryption so that there's less lag, which is always an issue. So cool. And the bug fixes. They fixed an issue where walking on thatched roofs on houses in Sanhok did not produce footsteps. And they fixed an issue where, under the correct zeroing settings, the ADS aim point and actual bullet trajectory were slightly misaligned. Oh, I wonder if that had anything to do with that the QBZ.
It did. Yeah, it was most noticeable with the QBZ.
Yeah.
People were complaining how their shots were just off. It was not zeroed correctly. So
yeah, that was interesting because it was like 0 to 0, not
instead of 100. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do you want to talk about that weapon real quick? What did you think of it? Because we got some playtime.
It's powerful as shit. But I don't know. The jury's out. It packs a punch, but unless you have a vert grip on it, good luck, man.
Yeah.
Close quarters, good luck.
It seems like there's more recoil on that than the Scar.
Yeah, I like it though. I'm gonna keep trying it until I'm okay with it. But I don't know. I kind of like the Scar better. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I like the look of it. I like.
The look is awesome. It looks sweet as hell. But
I agree. I think there's a little bit too much recoil on it.
Time will tell.
Yeah, just need more time. More
I wouldn't use it as a DMR in a pinch. I wouldn't do that. I don't think.
Yeah.
I'd stick to the M4 for something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the one thing that the change to the rifles did was make it really important to get grips. Like that's like you, and they seem to spawn less too. I don't know if you've noticed that. Especially
the
on
grips are
Savage.
Very, very hard to find. And the shitty part is like you'll find the lightweight grip more than others, I feel, and obviously that doesn't work unless it's like a SKS or something, some sniper or something like that, or if you're using an M4 as a marksman rifle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're looking for the vert and you're looking for angled, and I think half grip as well.
That vert has just become indispensable. You are not as effective with anything unless you have the vert grip. Even the angled has been nerfed so much that it's not really all that great anymore. The half grip, the thumb grip. The thumb grip is actually a pretty decent grip.
Yeah, that's something I noticed when I had it on the ump. It increases your aim down sight speed dramatically. Like I was pulling up the ump in like 0.1 second. It felt like it just like aim down sights.
When I started playing this game, I loved the ump, and now that they've changed SMGs, I love the ump again.
The ump is one of the best weapons.
I mean, the Vector is great, but it's not as good as it was.
Yeah, I've sort of felt the same way recently. I keep flip-flopping on that.
But long live the SMG.
Yeah, put a thumb grip on an SMG. It's awesome.
Whew, so good.
So back to the event pass really quick. I want to highlight some of our community members' thoughts on this. There was some Discord chatter, and I thought Clay on the Discord had a lot of good thoughts about this. Do you want to read this off, or do you want me to take it?
I got it. Clay says, I think that it's interesting that it's largely the same group of people that are complaining about the event pass that were also complaining about the fact that you have to spend $250 on keys that you didn't know what it would get you. We now have a system in place for showing you exactly what your $10 will get you if you are interested in skins. This, in my mind, is a pretty good solution to taking out the gambling for skins. You have to work for it with missions, etc., and you have the ability to see exactly what you have earned before paying for it. It's not like there's a hidden content being locked behind a paywall. This is content that everybody has access to. If you are a player that never buys skins, you still get to compete with missions, etc. This will not affect you in the slightest. Carry on about your life without skins. If you're the person that buys lots of skins, you will buy this regardless and get some cool new skins to add to your wardrobe. So again, not really affected because it's going to be $10 you would have spent anyway. The only people I can see this affecting are those people who have to balance whether this $10 is worth the investment. In my mind, it's not a huge margin of the population. So it's a good solution for the masses. I'll give you an anecdotal story about my situation. I've never spent money on a key to open a box. I've sold every crate that I've gotten, maybe opened one or two since the start of the game. I bought a few things on the market, maybe 4 cents to $1 here and there, so I have that outfit that I want, but overall the game has made me money. $100 in my Steam wallet. I don't really want to buy clothes that are super expensive or open crates. but it will definitely be getting that $10 of money back for this battle pass because it's something I feel like I'm earning. Damn, son.
Well stated. Yeah, I really wanted to highlight that comment. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so
Clay, for that.
for here, Clay, I totally agree with your idea about like the money aspect of it. 100%. I think what makes me upset about this battle pass is like the state of the game,
Right.
not the money. Not negating your thing. I'm not like saying, yeah, but yes, 100%. If you're mad about the $10 thing, don't buy it. Sell all your grades. Do whatever you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I am still upset, however, that they're focusing on these event things and making the events crappy when the game's not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. Obvious cash grab here for sure.
Which, I mean, good on them. Cash grab. Everybody loves money.
It's how the economy works.
It would be awesome.
What needs to be awesome? Sorry, I talked over you.
The game needs to be awesome, but listen to Clay. Pick one of these options. Shut up and buy some crates, or don't, or buy the things you want, or don't. Either way, he made $100.
Yeah, and the best part of the comment was the fact that people keep forgetting that you don't have to buy this. Like, you can still get the rewards, you can still do the missions, and like if you don't care about skins, you're not going to pay for this anyway. And if you don't pay for it, you can still do the missions, which is the point of paying for it. Well, the point of paying for it is keeping the skins, but I just don't
but
see
some of
how
the
it's a
skins you
problem.
can't even keep, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you care about it, cool. If you don't care about it, cool.
Yeah. And Brian from the Infection Podcast says they are just copying Fortnite and now Rocket League. Epic should sue them. They should just make it free to play.
Which, I don't know if any of you knew this. I guess it's worth noting. Bluehole dropped their lawsuit against Epic Games. That is no longer on the table. I don't really know why or care why. That wasn't our concern. That was never going to affect us.
Right. Yeah.
They're done. They're over it, apparently. Or somebody said, you really don't have a case here. You're using their game engine.
Yeah, that's probably
got us.
Like, do you want to ruin your relationship with the people that give you your game engine? Probably not.
Yeah.
So, yep. So that's all on the event pass, I think, and we can roll on out and into the mobile home.
Beep, beep. All right, so
I'm letting you take this one, man, because you crushed it on mobile this week.
Daniel saw someone in the wild.
It's true.
On the tee, playing
on the subway.
PUBG.
Yep, and it wasn't Fortnite. It wasn't Fortnite.
It was PUBG Mobile. And I said I would play last week, and I did play this week. Played, I don't know, 3 or 4 rounds. But I also did a lot of it just exploring because I hadn't played since the first 2 days that the game was released on mobile. And I have a couple of thoughts.
Hit me with them.
Hit me with your best shot.
Best thoughts.
The game runs really well. I mean, I play on an iPad Pro, so it's I can run it on the highest settings, so it looks really
Mr.
nice.
Fancy Pants over here.
It is a giant battery suck.
I bet.
Huge.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I went from 75% to 26% in 4 games. 4 games, Daniel.
Damn.
It gets hot, but boy does it look nice. It looks comparable to like my shitty computer.
Mm-hmm.
Not as smooth as my computer, but like you wouldn't know you were playing a mobile game if somebody had put it up as if it were a computer screen and you had a keyboard and mouse.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
However, I will say there is so much going on with this on the UI that it's difficult to maneuver at this point.
Interesting.
If you get onto the main page, you open the game, there are notification dots and spinning banners and all of the shit going on that just kind of makes you go like, what is this? If you want to jump into this now, it's a little intimidating and you might not explore the game other than just hitting play. There are so many different options to earn rewards, but then there's a store where you can just buy stuff with some sort of cash symbol, but I don't know if you have to earn that or actually spend that, but then there's the XP, and I'm not sure what they all have to do with each other. So enlighten me, mobile folks, because this is way over my head at this point, and I was not about to spend all that much time diving into it that day. But there are daily rewards that you unlock just by kind of being there, by logging in every day. But then like there are also missions, but then there are also like long-term rewards. And so being able to navigate those pages to figure out like what you're collecting and what you're not is a little overwhelming. Overall, this game is super fucking impressive. It is a mobile game, and you have more features than anything that you would expect to see on the PC version.
It just blows my mind. It really does.
And being able to see that view mode where you can put all the attachments and skins on to see what your gun would look like is awesome. I loved it. That's probably what I played with the most.
That's cool. Yeah, it really is cool. Does it? It does adjust the what do you call the stats of the weapon too, right? I mean,
it does. Yeah,
as much as those matter, right?
Yeah, the attributes. Yeah. I tried to use the in-game chat, but that didn't seem to be working very well. And also the game invite. It says you can send it via Messenger, but also SMS, and neither of those worked very well. So I will say that it kept telling me I didn't have Messenger installed, and I do. So
weird.
Yeah,
is that that's Facebook Messenger?
Facebook Messenger, yeah, because you can link it to 2 social media sites or something of the like.
Gotcha. Cool, man.
Yeah, but overall, I actually do want to play this a bit more. It is very fun. Like I said, overwhelming if you're trying to jump into it new, but totally worth it just for the content in itself.
Yeah, I would say even PUBG itself is overwhelming to jump into on any platform.
Yeah, it's a free download, so why not at least give it a go for one game?
Yeah. How was the limited time modes or like the quick modes? Did you play any like the arcade stuff?
I couldn't there was so much that I couldn't get to that. You know, I wanted to test out the game and like play a couple of rounds and see what it was, and then had the arcade mode in the firing range or whatever, and I was like, just no. Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, let's report back next week.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the arcade stuff. I'd be interested to hear about that.
I'll do the arcade next time.
Nice. Sweet.
Cool.
And it's your question of the week. Question of the week. Question of the week. And we ask questions and you answer them. It's the question of the week. This week's question was esports. Esports again. We're just beating the dead horse here. I wanted to give you guys one more chance to really talk about what you think PUBG can do to be an effective esport. And we had a lot of feedback. It's kind of difficult to go through all of it because in the Discord there was a lot of back and forth conversations. So I recommend if you're interested in joining these conversations, honestly hit up the Discord. Was that 8 times for bingo yet?
Discord. It's got to be now.
Got it. All right. I think like we can't really do this segment justice so much because we're just going to be reading off people's responses, and some of them are really long. But I want to call out a few of them. So Supachamp says he would like to watch pros from time to time and see their strategies and communications in action. The way that PUBG has been presented so far is you can see all the teams, where they are, and exactly how they notice and deal with others or certain situations when enemies have been spotted. It would be interesting to hear like how the teams interact with each other, I think is what he's getting at here. So situations when enemies have been spotted, what they should do or not do. So many things could be learned from watching them. And for me, I think I'm interjecting a little bit of my thoughts into his comment, but like being able to hear their communications between each other, like amongst a team, just as a listener would be super cool to hear like how they interact, how they communicate, how they call out people. Like, do they immediately use numbers? Do they use landmarks to call out people? He says he can't really see himself going out of his way to watch, but it's interesting nonetheless, and he gives it a thumbs up.
Yeah.
He says, "How do you like us now, fork knife?"
I'd like to shout out to Turbo Unicorn here. You are the most active mobile person that we have in here, so thank you, because you have some really good insight most of the time when we are asking for input from people, so thanks. The real problem with PUBG esports is that they are currently played is the point system. The point system makes PUBG esports harder to follow, incentivizes bad team behavior, and completely removes the drama from watching a match. This is a survival game about being the last person standing, but it's possible for a team to lose every match yet win the tournament on points alone. If they get a lot of kills and near finish top most matches, that's kind of shitty. You also have teams at the end of the tournament who don't have a chance of winning, playing spoiler and trying to hot drop on the other teams who don't want to win. Yeah, I mean, this makes a lot of sense right now. PUBG esports need to elimination rather than points based, and this will probably require the devs to expand custom match controls. First round of this normal match, the bottom 9 teams are eliminated, leaving 16 teams. Second round is there's already an initial circle, maybe a 4x4 map, and the winner of the first round gets to see the initial circle in the plane path ahead of time. Second place gets to see the circle, and third just gets the plane path. After the second round, the bottom 8 are eliminated, and after the third, bottom 4 get the axe. Oh, nice. Fourth round is the final 4. Each round, initial circle shrinks to the winner, and the previous match gets intel on the upcoming match. This way, when you get to the final 4, everyone in the match is playing to win, and the drama builds. That is a really, really cool way to do that.
Yeah, this is like next level stuff here.
Yeah, this took a lot of thought.
Yeah. So this is the thing. Like, I feel like why can't we set up our own games to like sort of be like this? You know, like
the ability to work through all these custom matches would also point out more bugs that they could fix faster. So yeah. I think that we should submit this to Bluehole, and Turbo Unicorn can make millions of dollars.
I really think, honestly, you should submit this to them. This is a really cool idea. Like, just get in contact with someone on Twitter or someone at PUBG Corp, and like, just even if it's the contact info, like, this is a really cool idea, man. This is awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Good for you.
So after this, we kind of went into some discussions about adding elimination. Lemon John said, if you add elimination, doesn't that reduce the action in the game and therefore make it more boring to watch? He likes the strategy relating to points rather than surviving. Surviving encourages defensive play, while points encourage aggressive behavior. And I agree with this, because we did see, and Point Click Dead points out, that there was a tournament where it was money... there was a tournament that encouraged you to camp, and it was survival based. So people just stayed underwater, or they stayed behind rocks or in bushes. And that's not fun to watch. So there has to be an incentive to go out and get kills, because that's what people want to see, and that's what makes
like
the action.
$2 million?
Yeah.
That's $2 million.
$2 million tournament. Yeah. Which I need to catch some of that, by the way. We need to watch some of that for next time.
Yeah, probably. So
yeah, no one wants to watch swimming around, being underwater where you're safe. So they did do some things to nerf that, which was added bullet penetration to water, slower swim speed. I think you can hold your breath for a less amount of time. So yeah, like, there's a lot of things that you guys had a lot of ideas about what people can do. There's a lot of back and forth. Like, we really can't do this conversation justice, because there was just so much to it. And I really encourage you guys, if you're curious, to go to the Discord.
Get into this Discord, because this is an incredible conversation about weapons balancing and elimination and strategy of the game that you really shouldn't miss.
Yeah. They dove into level 3 helmets and crates, the swim balance, the weapon balance.
Size of the circles, like, this is awesome.
Yeah, like what the impact was of the M24 coming out, what would happen if they put in a bigger LMG like the M240 in. Talking about Turbo Unicorn brings up that elimination would be an improvement, because fights will happen because the circle will make them happen. And if the circle needs to be sped up to keep things moving, then that's fine. I just feel that the winner of the final match should win the tournament, just like in most sports, and the winner of a PUBG match is the last one alive. I like that, because that's the nature of this game, last person standing.
Yeah, for sure.
John talks about defensively playing, because he would be worried about the circle speeds. There's just so much here. I feel bad being like, well, here's your question of the week segment, and we're not going to talk about it, but like, it's just so much. There's a couple points we can sort of round off here. So Survivor Lad says that he's not sure how PUBG fits in with esports. PUBG is fun to watch on stream, but half the fun is watching the person playing and their personality, like Dr. Disrespect and Shroud. If PUBG is to work without completely overhauling the fundamentals of the game, I could see a 4 versus 4 match of squads on a small concentrated part of the map, just not Savage. Interesting. Just not Savage, with above average loot spawns and faster moving circles. This would at least narrow down the players we are watching and reduce mid-game drag. The tournaments would be Swiss as well. I think that's a typo. So even if a team in one round is a loss, they still have a chance to redeem themselves in overall tournament. So that's like, what's that, round robin or whatever? No. Basically,
Sure, why not?
points ranked by points, so that you still have a chance to win. Final four or 2 teams would have just a final brawl. Oh my God, there's just so much. Okay, for the final thoughts, do you want to read off Jammy's comment? I thought this did a good job summing it up for people who aren't really deep into esports.
Jammy Jam did this really well. So I watched around the current tournament last night. I did enjoy it, but it wasn't enough to make me want to watch more. 3 observations. I have no idea who the teams are, which team to support. Even creating teams by nationality would help. If I did support a team, I'd want to watch most of the action from their perspective. I guess that's a fixable thing, though. 12 teams at once is chaos. Are there any other sports where more than 2 teams play each other at the same time? Golf is the closest I can think of, and they are all playing their own game just at the same time. In summation, I think that esports has to work so hard to overcome stigmas and create new industry that you need a game that ticks all the basics first to be successful. By the way, I thought the best bit was watching a team where 3 guys were killed early, go stealth with the remaining player, and survive as far as possible.
Yeah. Really good thoughts.
Those are really good thoughts. There's not much more to add to that. He summed that up very well. So
very well.
That is literally your question of the week. Next week's question is, Daniel.
Next week's question of the week is a cool one. This one comes at you from Lemon John. Design your favorite event mode. What does that look like to you? So if you had complete control over custom games and you can put in any rule set you wanted, what does that look like? Hit us up in the Discord.
Awesome.
What's in the John?
We're talking about final circles. This is because of Downward Spiral in Discord brought up a question that a lot of people, or some people, tried to help him with, which was, why am I getting to top 5 and not being able to close out games in solo matches?
I like a good, great point. A good, great point. That is applicable to all platforms. I think this is going to be a good little chat.
You know what I like is stealing ideas from Discord members to make points off of.
I would also like to point out that Dan thinks that the topic that he has agreed to put into our podcast is a good topic.
Why? And to John's point, why create mediocrity when you can copy genius?
Exactly. So I don't know. There's a few things that I want to discuss. There were some people who were chiming in, including Cody, myself, and I think it was Point Clicked Dead and Nightman, I believe, both chimed in with some help, who are both Xbox players as well as Downward. So I think their notes were particularly applicable, but I think we can talk about it on a general sense. So Final Circle to getting the chicken dinner can be like a tough stretch, especially if you're playing solo. And I haven't been playing solo like nearly as much as I used to. I never really played it a lot, but there's definitely some crossover tips that we can give for squads, duos, and solos. Mm-hmm. But I think there's some things to keep in mind about solos, and that's just one thing in general is just the sheer percentage of players who are out to kill you. Like right. If anyone sees you, they're going to shoot at you. Yeah. Which isn't true, when you're in a squad or a duo.
Yeah. There's really no such thing as holding your fire when you see someone when you're in solo. There is, I guess. That's a lie, but it's very rare.
Top 5, if they see you, like, that's a fight. Like, there's not much debate. There's not, like...
There's no more information to gather by holding your fire.
Yeah, you don't have to worry, like, where are the other guys?
Yeah.
You just think, person, bullets face.
Well, yeah, it's confronting the first thing that you need to, because like there could be people all around you, but this one person has seen you and will start firing any second.
Yep.
So like you need to handle that before you get into anything else. So it's tricky in solos because of that. So it's really important to play it smart, and I think there's a few parts to playing it smart, and it's not necessarily like playing it passively or aggressively. It's just like being aware of several things. And one is your
What
positioning.
about playing it passive aggressively?
I think that'll get you a loss, but I'm not sure. I've never tried it. Like leave a note for that.
Yeah, just leave post-it notes saying, "I'm gonna get you someday."
Could you not shoot at me in the back when I'm turned around or fighting some other enemy?
I wish some people would be considerate of other players.
Some people should move their move their face into my bullets more often.
Oh, we should try that.
We make jokes.
So one thing to be particularly aware of is your own positioning. And that's relative to many things. It's relative to the enemy, relative to the next circle, and relative to cover. So all those things are very important to be aware of and keep track of. Cover, I think, is super helpful. Miramar, I'm trying to think if it's... Miramar's kind of weird because there's like grooves in the land, like dips and tiny ridges and that kind of thing. On Erangel, there's like some circles will be amazing for cover, and you can just like... Bless you. Can I finish?
I was muted. That wasn't being recorded.
That was so good.
For everyone who didn't hear any of that, I just coughed right in the middle of his speech. I clicked mute on the recording thing, but I didn't mute it to you guys.
That's the funniest fucking thing that's ever happened on this stream. Oh god.
I'm sweating.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Oh god.
I was muted.
No one's gonna know. No one's gonna ever know.
And that's how you play passive aggressively.
I don't remember what I was saying.
I don't either.
Something about positioning.
We're talking about Miramar dips in the landscape.
Oh, Erangel. Yeah, sometimes in Erangel you can just get wide open fields that you just get screwed by the circle, basically. Which is kind of frustrating. And on Sanhok, sorry you Xbox players, that seems less likely to happen. It seems more often that there is plenty of cover to go around. It doesn't mean that you can just play wherever, but there is cover that you can get to usually. So being aware of like what it'll take for you to get from where you are to the next piece of cover that will be advantageous is really helpful.
That was part of that discussion about knowing, when I made the statement about you guys knowing the map so well, that you can point out where the rocks are and where the trees are that you know are coming up in that circle. Like I've started to remember a lot of the matches and where I died,
right?
But you guys are really good about like, okay, over this hill there are essentially 3 rocks, and like across the street are a bunch of trees. They're probably in those trees. And I don't even know if you guys notice yourself saying it, but you're always right. And that is huge, in knowing like where to place yourself when you see the circle drop.
Yeah. And if you don't have a lot of experience with the map visually, the mini map actually helps you with cover quite a bit. I think, well, certainly buildings, but I think some rocks are sometimes visible on your mini map, which can help you move from cover to cover safely.
Yeah, there's
Or at least
definitely
give you
some
an idea
color
of where people are.
changes. Yeah, there's like color changes that indicate different terrain
Right.
types of things, kind of topographically. But yeah, it's definitely helpful to remember where like things are that could be obstructions that you can use to your advantage, or where enemies might be shooting from. So yeah, it takes just like experience in the game and then a little bit of intuition, I think, to apply that. Um, so yeah, just a lot of playing the game will get you to that point, I think. And then after positioning, the next thing is like paying attention to where the fights are happening. So being aware of any shots that you hear, trying to, like Cody was talking about, trying to figure out where they are in the circle so that you can like get to the next piece of cover, get inside the circle without dying. You don't want to be out in the open and just get shot like 3 times and die or whatever.
We call that the Cody tactic.
Very effective.
So that those could be, like I talked about, those could be sound cues, visual cues. You can make just general guesses based on how many people are left and how big the circle is and what kind of cover there is. Lots of times on stream, if you watch us, you'll hear us take guesses like, oh, I bet there's a team over in this group of houses, just because the circle like might have been centered around that area or in around a town or something. And we can make an educated guess that somebody might be in that location, or something that we haven't checked before.
That's a really good point, and not something I think about a lot, but we do it constantly. Like, we always are calling out not necessarily where people are, but where we think they'll be. And I think that's crucial. Even if you have an idea in your head and you're not being too distracting to your team, I think it's okay to call out, like, okay, guys, expect them to be here. And if they're not there, that's fine. But like, at least everyone like thinks for a second, okay, yeah, that would make sense that they were there. And you're sort of like learning together patterns of how your enemies will move around and kind of what positions they will take based on the circumstances. I think that's good to just communicate that. If you have a hunch that someone might be somewhere, just say it. Just shout it out.
I think the best part where that helps is we've all had this where you just suddenly start getting hit from somewhere that you can't really tell where it is.
Right.
If you have some kind of positions in your head of where enemies might be, and you can align them with where the bullet impacts are coming from and the sound, then you probably have a pretty solid guess of where they are. So you might be able to take cover quicker. You might be able to actually spin around and like two-tap somebody, get them down. Or if you're playing in squads or duos, possibly call it out to your teammate and have them back you up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, in excess, I think it's annoying. But in general, like if you have a pretty good sense, I think it's helpful. And then the last part of getting to the fights that take final, the meal, the chicken dinner, is like actually taking the fight. And this just takes, experience, lots of other fights that take place elsewhere in the game. And I think it also, a big part is just a confidence in your own abilities and your skill.
Yep.
Like it's very, people have done it, but it's super unlikely to actually win a game without taking at least one fight. So being able to take that fight confidently will give you a huge boon in that battle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've talked about that.
The word boon.
Boon.
We've talked about that confidence factor so much. Like with me, with Cody, with you, like everyone, just like going into a fight expecting to win is going to really turn the tides. There we go. Tip the turn.
Tip the turn, baby.
Just tip that turn in your favor. It really is the huge thing. And even if it's like this artificial confidence of like, make up your own confidence as you go. You know what I mean? It really, really helps.
Yeah, I totally agree. A lot of times in the last one point that I think it was Point Click Head who made. He said that he would rather die at 25th with 4 kills than second with 1 or something like that.
Yep, I remember seeing that.
Or first with 1. I don't remember exactly but basically he's an aggressive player. He wants to take fights and get kills rather than win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of, I'm maybe not that extreme, but I definitely prefer fights and aggression over playing it safely for the win, because that's not what gets my adrenaline pumping. Like, the win is a cherry, nice, but it's the cherry on top of you getting a lot of kills. Right. That's kind of what I want it to be. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times, if I'm the last one alive, or we have a big squad up, kind of whenever towards the end, I will start playing way more recklessly and more aggressively to try and get like fun, flashy kills. Mm-hmm. I did this that round when I clutched after everybody had died on Sanhok. We were doing the experimental testing, and that guy had the level 3 helmet. We heard him firing from the edge of the circle, and I couldn't find him, so I basically just ran out into the center. I was near cover, so I wasn't like completely out in the open if he started hitting me and I could find him. But I basically was just trying to get him to shoot at me more so I could zero in on where he was firing, because I knew that I would be able to hit him with my Kar 98. And I thought one-shot him, but it turned out he had a level 3 helmet, which was pretty funny.
But you still got it in the end.
Well, I closed it with the AR, but the one-shot headshot is kind of what I was counting on, and that didn't go through.
I think that just reminded me of something. Aggressive. I don't want to cut out your point there. Keep going, please.
No. Yeah, I was just ending with like that. That's the kind of aggression that like I prefer to play with in the end, especially.
Yeah, right. What I was gonna bring up is that what you just said about baiting shots. I know a lot of our followers and a lot of the hot droppers, they play in a squad, and this is sort of like the final circle tips, right? So one thing that I seem to do a lot on purpose is just run out in the middle of the field. If we have a situation where it's like 2 guys left or 1 guy left and we have a full squad and we have numbers, I'll be the guy to sacrifice myself for sure.
Oh, totally.
Just to let all of my teammates know where the enemies are. I think that's a really good tactic, and a lot of people play scared and don't want to do that. But I think that's at a certain point, in certain circumstances, it turns into a very much a team effort if you're really all focused on getting the win. And that's when it's not a bad idea if you have the awareness of where your teammates are and where the enemy might be, and you're not straying too far from your teammates such that they can't trade the kill. It's a good idea sometimes to sacrifice yourself, because at the end, it's knowledge is what you need to know. You have to know where your enemy is, or else you are screwed. So like the first thing you have to do is figure out where to focus your attention in those end circles, and doing a sacrifice move like that might turn the tide in your favor. Haha. Use that.
I mean, I like to play support roles a lot because I'm not anywhere near the shot that you guys are, so like I never have an issue doing something that is just going to help you guys win, because you know, I know we're in better hands if you guys are trying to play clutch, being the last one alive, than I am. I never come through with that kind of stuff. Half the time I can't tell which direction I'm facing. So
eventually you'll start clutching things, and it'll be excellent.
It'll feel real good.
Yep. But yeah, that just reminded me, because I wanted to swing back the conversation on, final circle tips. And that's one I've used a ton of times. And I don't necessarily shout it out every time. I think
I'm baiting.
Yeah,
I'm baiting.
I'm going. I'm gonna go. That's usually what happens. I'm like, I'm gonna run.
It's the thing. I'm doing it.
It's something that like we all kind of realize towards the end. Like we're like, oh, there's 3 people left and 4 of us, or something like that. At those numbers, we usually still play pretty cautiously. But if it's 2v4 or like 4v2,
you know that. Yeah, like do you remember the one where at the very end you threw the flashbang when I walked up and shot the guy in the face? That was like one of the ones where I was just like, there are 4 of us and one of this guy. I'm just gonna run at him. If I get him, I get him. If I don't, I don't. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like at least that's when you were like, that's where the guy is. And then the flashbang happened.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm a big fan of baiting shots out. I I think it's a great idea, especially if you have a sniper on your person, because a lot of times you can, if you're experienced with it, you can snap a headshot before they can actually finish the kill, depending on the aim punch of it. But yeah, it makes it's basically betting on yourself and then secondarily on your team when you bait out the shots for information.
Yeah.
I'm
always betting on my team. Always.
I know, right? You gotta, if you're gonna play in a squad consistently, you really have to trust your team and bet on them.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I like to do in the final circle is like kind of exploring, well, not the final circle, but towards the end, exploring around the edges to try and get like a side on somebody, especially going up a hill, because you should be able to see them, maybe not before, but like, I don't know, we tend to catch a lot of teams out who are like looking towards the center or across a ridge that we can kind of flank up on.
It seems to happen a lot on Savage too, because you can't really see very far, and you can just get some behind people really easily.
Yeah, and the circles move so fast, so I think people are still kind of like amped up.
Yeah.
And adrenaline is definitely a factor in the end as well. But I think that's a really good tip to kind of like swing around the edge of a circle, especially because as you're clearing that section out, you know that people aren't really going to be behind you.
Yeah.
Especially in a squad, because you kind of can fan out a bit.
Yeah, that's the key, is eliminating the angles, so you know that, okay, back behind me is safe, to the left of me is safe, and now I just have to focus on 2 of the 4 positions, you know?
Right.
Like that's such a big part of strategically clearing out a path to the middle or to the edge, however you're playing it. Yeah.
So in Discord, we had some people kind of discuss their preferences, and as I said, Point Click Dead and Nightman fell more on the aggressive side of things. They wanted kills, whereas some of our other viewers, I think Jammy was more of a passive player, and I believe Downward Spiral was not as competent in his end game, so I believe he would play passively. I don't know if he said that or if I'm just guessing, but that would make sense to me. But there's a difference between playing passively and playing scared. And one thing that I brought up was you don't want to play scared, because it's something that we as aggressive players tend to take advantage of. Like that guy, the Car 98 headshot on the level 3 helmet. As soon as I hit him in the face, he ran scared, trying to get to some other place away from me, and it just opened it up for me to light him up with the AR and finish him off. But if he had like actually gotten a hit on me, like I was more out in the open, he might have been able to kill me before I was able to switch to my AR and get the shot off. So playing scared can definitely be detrimental, but playing passively is fine. Like you want to gather the information, take the safe bet fight. If you hear 2 people shooting and you see somebody die on the kill feed, most likely it was from that fight in the end circles. So if they're near enough by, maybe you can catch them off guard, round a tree or something, come out from behind cover and check on it. Also, I know a lot of our Xbox players play third person, so you can use that to your advantage. You can use the third person peeking very, very well in the end to not alert anyone to your presence, stay near the edge of the circle so no one's behind you, and just third person peek people, look for people coming out of cover, and then, light them up. Do you know if Xbox got the center circle patch like PC has?
Center circle?
Yeah, so
how it zooms into the center instead of going to the opposite sides. Yeah, it's not random. Now, what is it, the last 3 circles?
Yeah, something like that.
I think the last 3 circles all center in one focal point.
I feel like they should have had it by now, but I don't remember reading that patch note for Xbox.
Huh. Well, this might not be helpful, but on PC at least, they reduce the randomness of the final circles. So basically, you get a reward for ending up in some of the last few circles. It doesn't adjust the position so that one side's not the short side. The safe zone is directly in the circle, so anyone who's not directly in the middle has to move in. So it lets you kind of plan the end game a little bit more and be more strategic about it, and doesn't like screw you over, which is I think it's a great change, especially towards the end, because there's been a lot of times where we kind of get fucked over by the circle and we have to push past like where cover is to get into the zone, and we didn't know that until the circle actually popped.
Yeah.
And then it's really hard, especially if you're in the middle of a fight, to make that move.
Right. Yeah, that's the worst when you're at the end and you have to cross an open field and you have no choice. So
and like somebody's behind like a ridge and can just like keep peeking you and taking pot shots, and you're like, well, there's not much I can do here.
That's when the game. I just like the game has killed me. Like there's nothing I could have done, so you can't really be mad about it.
Yeah. So that little update helps a little bit for that, because you can actually plan when you see like the third to last circle. You're like, okay, now I know where I'm going to end up in the end.
Right.
And yeah, it was any other tips from you two? Any other points you want to bring up or talk about?
No.
I didn't really talk about aggressive play, but there's kind of
it's tough to play aggressively when you know there's 5 left because you have no choice. Like you can technically, I guess, avoid any conflict at all, but good luck winning the game.
Well, for the aggressive play, I guess the strategy is super important. You want to minimize the angles, as Dana was referring to earlier, and make sure to take those one-on-one fights to your advantage, and then you can kind of, I guess, skirting around the edge can be a good aggressive play, using your grenades to catch people off guard, like throw a distracting smoke or one that you can use to pass through an area or circle around an area pretty well. There's a bunch of little things that you can do, but it's harder. I think it's harder to kind of advise an aggressive player because it's super dependent on your skill level and like the current situation you're in. Whereas a passive player, like obviously you want to gather information and take the safe fight. And that can mean a bunch of different things, but I think it's a more straightforward bit of advice.
Yeah.
Whereas, go for it.
Nope, sorry. I was gonna talk.
I was just gonna say, like, aggressive players generally you trust in your skill, so like just keep doing that. Like if you're aggressive, you're probably gonna get better at fighting, so you're gonna win more. So like, just go kill people. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Just go kill people. It'll be fun.
Yeah. Yep. I don't need to advise the aggressive people, I don't think.
I think the only last point I wanted to make was I've been having a lot of success lately with playing the edge of the end circles, playing the rings, and not going to the center because you can, like I said, eliminate the angles. And we've snuck up behind people a ton of times because a lot of people play on the edges and they don't expect you to come around the side of them. They're sort of looking in the center, waiting for people to show themselves in front of them. So I've had a lot of luck just like going around the edges, just like make the loop around the circle and just see if you can run into anyone. It's been pretty effective recently.
Especially effective on Sanhok where the circles, the blue moves slower. So you can actually play outside the zone a little bit easier and like catch people unawares.
Yeah, you can outrun it as it's closing in.
Yeah. Okay, so the last point I want to bring up is just pure experience. The more you get to those top 5 situations, the more comfortable you will be there. Dano and I used to talk a lot about how we would get the shakes and the adrenaline when we get to those last few minutes of the game. Our heart rate goes up, that kind of thing. It still happens, but it's a more controlled and experienced experience. Now experienced experience.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So it's we're still able to perform how we want to perform because we've been in those situations a lot. It's just something that comes with time and experience. Just keep playing it, keep playing those top 5 zones. If you screw up and die, try and figure out what you did wrong, and then be conscious about that when you get to the next top 5. I think that is the best kind of advice. Is you just have to keep doing it until you get it right, and then it'll be easier the next time.
What's
Just
weird?
keep on keeping on.
For sure. What's weird, as I was just thinking about this, a couple games I've had recently, where it's like the more kills I get in a game, the more confident I get. But as I get more kills, I get more anxious because I really want to win the game with that many kills. So it's like, I remember I was playing with Cody, and I have a clip of this. I had like 13 kills that game.
Oh
And
my
remember
God,
you were
so
watching
cool.
me, and I whiffed on like almost every
did.
shot in the last guy, and he was like jumping around. That was
Yeah,
when I
and
really thought I was going to have a
so
heart attack.
panicky.
Yeah.
So panicky.
That was like hundreds of hours of go in the game. So like I was way less experienced, but that's something I've noticed with myself. Like, try to ignore how many kills you've gotten up to this point, because it doesn't mean anything. Like, you're here and you could have gotten here with 0 kills. So like, don't let trying to seal the game get in the way of your confidence and your cool-headedness, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, adrenaline is a real thing. It's not like something that you can easily overcome with just mental fortitude. Like, you actually just have to get used to the situations so your body doesn't produce as much adrenaline when it happens. So like you're ready for the experience rather than like reacting to it, kind of. So yeah, I mean, it's been happening to me. Like, I haven't played a lot of PUBG lately, and when I went back into it, I noticed that when I was in like one-on-one fights, like my hand would start shaking, my hand would shake a little bit after like the fight was over, and I noticed that I was getting this like adrenaline pump as I was playing again, which was, I mean, it's fun. It's really cool to come back to that, and it's really satisfying playing like that, but it can be detrimental to your play for sure.
Definitely.
So yeah, this has been me, John, making a great point.
Nice. That was fun.
It was fun. I missed the last 30 seconds because my headphones died.
Oh no. We just talked
about how cool you were.
Yeah, how cool you were.
Oh, man.
You have new messages.
I needed to give my 2 cents on last week's most important topic, bowel evacuation. 1. It's disgusting how bidets aren't popular in the US. 2. The shower is just a really big toilet if you are brave enough. XOXO. Admiral Zach Barr.
Hey, this is Brian. Sorry to disturb you, Bobby. But you know that toaster you gave me? Yeah, the one for Christmas. Well, here's the thing. If you have like instructions for it or anything like that, I kind of need them. Or like tools for taking apart a toaster. The ones that aren't particularly sharp would be nice. Cause here's the thing. There's a bit of a situation. I've been trying to get the toaster off for about 3 hours now. It's on there good. Yeah, so just call me back when you got a chance, cause bit of a situation, kinda, I may have got my dick in the toaster a little bit, quite literally. So I'm gonna need those tools and instructions would be nice. Yeah, so just call me back. Come by soon. It's not fun having a toaster on your dick. It's quite heavy. Yeah. Alright, talk to you later, man. Have a good day.
This is a message for the one you call Lemon John. Lemon John, this is Stephen Hawking. I am able to contact you from beyond the grave because before I died I had my consciousness transferred to the cloud. Specifically an AWS-3 server. Unfortunately, it appears this specific instance is also running the Midwest Xbox PUBG service. The result is some serious in-game memory leaks, as well as the feeling I always have a pan hanging off my ass. I've heard you are a great developer. Help me, Lemon John, you're my only hope.
Hey, what up, Hot Droppers? Old Fugs here. I just wanted to call in and give a huge shout out. Much deserved, and I'm sure I speak for everybody when I say this, but thank you to our generous hosts, Dano and Cody, for putting this whole show together for so long and keeping it running. I also want to thank all you OG and admin guys for letting us degenerates come in here and just trash the place. For anyone listening, if you're kind of nervous, get in the Discord. It's a ton of fun. Whether you're console or PC, it's probably one of the most lively, friendly, and full of just procrastination banter that I've ever been a part of. So we appreciate all you guys, and get in here and make some new friends. Let's get some chicken dinners. It's almost Friday, y'all. Woot.